Indonesia has various cultures from its local ethnics. Each region has its different characteristics. Madiun is a city located in East Java. Its motto as Kota Gadis, Perdagangan, Pendidikan, dan Perindustrian, Universitas PGRI Madiun (Unipma) plays a major role to develop the quality of education both nationally and internationally. Universitas PGRI Madiun (Unipma) has achieved some award, winning the award of Top University Aku from Cooperative 7, getting institution accreditation B, winning national competition grants, and many more. Unipma has 2 postgraduate programs and 4 faculties for undergraduate program with 22 departments. Postgraduate program, Indonesian language and literature education, and social science education. Undergraduate programs, Faculty of Teacher Training and Education, Faculty of Health Sciences and Science, Faculty of Engineering, and Faculty of Economics and Business. To support students' activities and develop students' talents and creativities, there are also some students' activity centers: choir, band, theater, modern and traditional dance, karate, student regiment, and scout. In encouraging the smart and competitive alumni, Unipma also provides representative facilities, convenient classrooms, Campus 1, Campus 2, Campus 3, library, laboratories, micro-teaching and computer, sports center, language and culture center, Graha Cendekia, dormitory, gamelan room. Universitas PGRI Madiun (Unipma) commits to give learning-oriented education and student independence to develop their abilities and skills by organizing some activities such as national and international seminars.
Universitas PGRI Madiun, smart and competitive.
Unipma, smart and competitive.
Okay, and now I have a few housekeeping notes. The first today's session is being recorded to be available for viewing post-conference. If you have questions for the presenters, you may raise your hand and turn on your microphone and ask them out loud, or use the chat features in the Zoom meeting, and I will read your question out loud on the conference platform. For the session for presenter to answer after this session, I mean after the presentation session. And then each presenter today will have a total of 10 up to 15 minutes for their presentation. And then we are going to continue with question and answer session. Since we have 9 presenters here, so I will divide this presentation into 2 or 3 parts. The first panel, there will be 3 presenters, and then we continue with question and answer session, and after that we come to the second part. The second part will be 3 presenters again, and then the last part we have 3 presenters. The other last 3 presenters. Okay, and then ladies and gentlemen, before I start, is there anything that you want to ask Maybe you want to check your PPT first, or you want to check your sound first. I give the time for that.
Test mic, test. Can you hear me? Thank you.
Yes. Okay.
Oke, tes mic.
Hello.
Moderator. Wahid, tes mic.
Pak Wahid, ya.
Iya,
Oke.
ampun.
Yes.
Ampun.
Ladies and gentlemen, Bapak Ibu, maybe you want to check or try first your PPT to share screen here. We still have about how many? 7 minutes before we start sharp at 8:30. Dr. Bell, there's something that you want to ask?
Thank you, Ibu. I just came in the room, and I think I missed some of your announcements. Did you already do the first batch of presenters? The first 3 do?
Let me. Oh yeah. Is your complete name Annabel Bautista Francisco?
Yes, Bu.
Yes. Okay. So, will Dr. Bell, will you have live presentation, or you are going to use a video?
I'm going to have a live presentation.
Okay, you will have a live presentation. Okay, so that would be better if you can send also your PPT via chat. Just in case if there is a problem with when you try to share screen, we will help. Okay.
Okay, actually, Ibu, I have already sent it to our GC.
Oh yeah.
My presentation.
Okay.
Yes. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Well, what batch would I be? Like you said a while back that there will be 3 presenters each batch, and then Q&A, and then 3 presenters. May I know, Ibu, what batch am I?
Oh yeah. Okay. Oh yeah, I forget to share you. Let me share you first, ladies and gentlemen.
Ladies and gentlemen, later on, if you have a question for our presenter today, you may raise your hand and turn on your microphone to ask them.
Masih.
So your question is directed and your question in the chat. Before this start, so if you have any question for this today, you may ask.
Yeah, okay, ladies and gentlemen, Bapak Ibu, can you see my screen?
Yeah.
Yes. Okay, so this is the list of the schedule for this room, number 1 up to number 9. So this is the order. That means number 1, 2, and 3 will be the first part, the first panel, and then 4, 5, 6 will be the second panel, and then 7, 8, 9 will be the last one, the last panel. Sorry, Dr. Bell, we put the color of red for you here since we don't have, or we don't get any what is it, a kind of information about you are going to present using video or live presentation. Forgive us for put you this kind of red color.
No, it's okay.
Yeah.
No problem, Ibu. No worries.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah. Okay, so Bapak Ibu, ladies and gentlemen, let me check again your attendance. We still have 4 minutes.
Kalau partisipan ada 2, 1, 3 partisipan mereka.
Ya. Mas Amir.
Gitu.
Yeah, would you turn on the speaker first?
Name-nya ini. Partisipan of the center.
Yeah, Bapak Ibu, ladies and gentlemen, we still have 3 minutes. Let me check again your attendance. 1, 2, 3. Oh yeah, we have Miss Cynthia Mongascarino. Would you open your cam, Miss? Hello, Miss Cynthia Mongascarino. Are you there?
Ibu, can I answer on behalf of Dr. Cynthia?
Yeah.
Yeah. Actually, she is currently joining a meeting. We have a board meeting.
Okay.
She is our board secretary, but she will be present hopefully later on during the Q&A portion. I guess she has sent her video to the portal, so she will deliver her presentation through a video.
Yeah. Yeah, thank you, Dr. Bell. That means Miss Cynthia still or can still join for the question and answer session, right?
Yes, she will.
Yeah. Okay. So we put Miss Cynthia at last, right after we play the video. Then we continue with question and answer, live question and answer session, right?
Yes.
Okay. Well, Bapak Ibu, ladies and gentlemen, the time is already 8:29. We are going to prepare for our panel session. So as we, okay, ladies and gentlemen, the first part, there will be Miss Evelyn L. Apura, and then Ibu Noviana Dini Rahmawati, and then Bapak Wahid, ya? Is that right?
Right.
Yeah. Yeah, Ibu Bapak Firman hasn't been in the room yet, so we put in the second list, and then third list, and the sixth list. Yeah. Okay, now we come to the first presenter, that is Miss Evelyn L. Apura from Iloilo Science and Technology University, with the title "The Impact of Seaweed Farming on Marital and Reproduction Role Satisfaction." For Miss Evelyn L. Apura, the floor is yours.
Hello, everyone. Good morning. Let me share to you my screen. Can you see my screen?
Yes.
In the Philippines, seaweed exports increased almost 20-fold. It's usually done by couples. According to Valderrama, seaweed farming has emerged as the most prevalent livelihood strategy among family living along the shore. In Barangay Tiabas, Municipality of San Dionisio, majority of couples are engaging in seaweed farming endeavors. It is normally maintained by a family that serve as their bread and butter. They view the said farming as a means of livelihood which supplies their basic needs and educational supports of their children. For the marginalized community of Barangay Tiabas, seaweed farming has brought substantial socio-economic benefits to their family. Marital satisfaction of couples engaging in seaweed farming was less taken into consideration by most researchers. The income received, the household division of work, time spent by the couples for their children, and relationship as husband and wife are oftentimes sacrificed as they both work in seaweed farming. It is in this scenario that the researcher has thought of determining the impact of seaweed farming to the marital satisfaction. For the statement of the problem, this research study aimed to determine the impact of seaweed farming to the marital and reproductive role satisfaction among married couples of Barangay Tiabas, San Dionisio, Iloilo seaweed farmers. Specifically, this study wanted to know the following question. What is the level of impact of seaweed farming on marital satisfaction among married couples of Barangay Tiabas, San Dionisio in terms of sex, age, time spent in seaweed farming, family income, length of marriage, and family size? Significant difference in the level of impact of seaweed farming on the marital satisfaction among married couple farmers in terms of sex, age, time spent in seaweed farming, family income, and length of marriage and family size. What is the level of impact of seaweed farming on reproductive role among married couples of Barangay Tiabas, San Dionisio in terms of sex, age, time spent in seaweed farming, family income, length of marriage, and family size? Is there a significant difference in the level of impact of seaweed farming on the reproductive role among married couples in terms of sex, age, time spent in seaweed farming, family income, length of marriage, and family size? For the hypothesis, based on the preceding questions, the following null hypotheses were advanced. Null hypothesis number 1, there is no significant difference in the level of impact of seaweed farming on the marital satisfaction among married couple farmers of Barangay Tiabas, San Dionisio in terms of sex, time spent in seaweed farming, family income, length of marriage, and family size. Null hypothesis 2, there is no difference in the level of impact of seaweed farming on reproductive role of married couple farmer in terms of sex, time spent in seaweed farming, family income, and length of marriage and family size. For our conceptual framework, we have our independent variables. We have their sex, age, years of marriage, family income, time spent in seaweed farming, family size. For our dependent variables, we have there our marital relationship satisfaction and reproductive role satisfaction. And for the intervening variable, we have seaweed farming. The findings of these studies are beneficial to the following: married couples. The result of this study is a significant help for married couples to achieve a well-satisfied married life. To the seaweed farmers. The result of this can provide check and balance among seaweed farmers on their seaweed farming and reproductive roles to achieve a marital satisfaction. To the community, the result of the study will be shared to them through the conduct of seminar and orientation. This knowledge can improve their marital relationship satisfaction and benefit the community in many ways. For the HEI or higher education institutions, the findings of this can contribute to the development of technology, skills, and knowledge for the ESETU to patent and extend. To the future researchers, they can make use of the study to explore similar studies concerning marital satisfaction, division of labor, and seaweed farming. For our methodology, so we have our data gathering whereby the distribution and conduct of research instrument were done. It is followed by collection of accomplished questionnaires. Then after that, data analysis and interpretation were done. For our results and discussion, marital satisfaction is vital to each spouses. Reproductive role satisfaction is at the same time makes a healthier family bond. Married couples see with farmers in the study have very high marital satisfaction in terms of sex, time spent in seaweed farming, family income, years of marriage, and family size. Specifically, the family size of 5 and below, with a mean of 123.86 and standard deviation of 17.25, had a notable result of marital satisfaction as seaweed farmers. Meanwhile, the study shows no significant difference in terms of sex and time spent of seaweed farming on marital satisfaction. Based on these findings, the null hypothesis is accepted. No significant difference on marital satisfaction in terms of length of marriage, income, and family size of the respondents were also found out. On the aspect of reproductive role, study revealed that married couple or seaweed farmer, in terms of sex, the reproductive role satisfaction is low. The same with the family size, time spent of time spent at seaweed farming, and family income. However, in the years of marriage, 1 to 5 years has moderate satisfaction on reproductive roles. On the other hand, study exhibited no significant difference on reproductive role satisfaction in terms of sex, time spent in seaweed farming, family income, and years of marriage. Seaweed farming in Barangay Tiabas, San Dionisio, Philippines, has contributed to the marital relationship and reproductive role satisfaction among couples who are relying from the produce of it. A shared sense of family earnings and family responsibilities of Barangay Tiabas San Dionisio seaweed farmers increase the marital and reproductive role satisfaction among them. For our budget or budgetary, on the following activities, here are the amounts spent. For proposal making, an amount of 1,500 pesos were used for research supplies. In gathering the data, 25,000 pesos were used or was used on the research supplies, transportation, food, contingency fund, and honorarium of validators. For our statistician, we have our in-house statistician in the university, so there was no money spent for that. For printing, for the office supplies, an amount of 1,000 pesos was used, with a total of 27,500 pesos. And here are the references. Thank you very much for listening, and I hope that you like my study. Thank you.
Thank
All
you.
right.
Now we come to the
Thank you for
second.
listening.
We still wait for the
Thank you, Ma'am
question and
Belle.
answer session. Yeah, Miss Evelyn, we are going to continue with the other presenter. The second presenter will be, let me read first, Ibu Noviana Dini Rahmawati. The title is Effectiveness of VAR, Virtual Augmented Reality Based Educational Games in Trigonometry Learning in University. Ibu Noviana, that's right. The floor is yours. Halo, Ibu Noviana. Mas Amir, Ibu Noviana terlempar dari Zoom ya?
Thank you
very much, ma'am. From
Yang satu presentasi sama Pak Arif. Pak Arif Wibisono ini satu grup.
Oh
Satu
iya.
kelompok dengan Bu Noviana.
Oh oke. Pak Arif Wibisono, are you here, Bapak?
Yes, ma'am.
Halo.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, okay, Bapak, can you share or can you continue Ibu Noviana presentation? I see
Okay.
in the list you are at the same at the same team, right?
Yes, I'm one team.
Yes.
Okay. We more a time. I still.
So for this one, it will be from ICETECH PGRI Madiun with recruiting. Hello, in the process on high school students. Yes. After this, so we will proceed with Ma'am Wiwin first, and then after that we will proceed with Ma'am Dia Puji Aligrata. Okay, now I will give the floor to Ma'am Wiwin today.
Excuse me, ma'am. Maybe our session can skip with another participant because I'm lost contact with my partner.
Okay. So
I'm not in same time and a place because my partner is on a campus, but I'm still in our home. So
okay.
maybe it can skip to another participant.
Okay, that means I'm going to put you in the next part, Pak
Yes.
Arif, right? Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, Bapak Ibu, ladies and gentlemen, let's continue to our third presenter in the first part, that is Bapak Raden Wahid Akhdinir Wanto. Bapak, are you ready?
Yes, I'm ready.
Okay.
Yes. Okay. The floor is yours, Bapak.
Yes, that's moment I will share. Okay, thank you very much, moderator.
Ladies and gentlemen, I will present a paper with a letter. The validity of the argumentation flip. Sorry. Okay. The validity of the argumentation flipped learning or FFL model to improve the critical thinking skill of junior high school students during the COVID-19 period. The research part from the COVID-19 pandemic, which has not been complete until now, and when it will end, we do not know. While 21st century skills must also be made, so learning needs to be improved in the sense that it is not only implemented, but can also meet the demands of instructional objectives. Even McNay was an education program organized by an educational institution must meet the validity, practically, and effectiveness. Validity refers to the prepared learning models and tools. Practicality refers to the implementation of the lesson plan. Effectiveness refers to the learning objectives to be achieved. Critical thinking. One, problem, thinking, and solution. Critical thinking skills do not grow by themselves, following the physical and psychological development of individuals, but must be trained and taught. Critical thinking skills are ways of thinking that contain question, problem, experiment, thinking, and belief in the knowledge gained through experiments. In Indonesian studies, critical thinking skills are still relatively low. Thames, the Pauzius International Studies, namely trained in international mathematics and science studies, which was conducted on junior high school students with high cognitive quotient that functioned to measure students' critical thinking skill, turns out to show that Indonesian students were still in the low rank. Bisa, Indonesians literacy score is 382 with a ranking of 64 out of 65 countries. This means that Indonesian students are one step above the character paper, which is very concerning. In the field, the result of study at SMP 5 Waters for 1992 school just found the learning evaluation material still use cognitive level C1, C2, and C3, which were included in the category of low order thinking skill and had no use question with higher ability, higher order thinking skill. This shows that there are problems in the process of learning critical thinking skill. Although learning to improve critical thinking skill has been widely used. Moreover, during the COVID-19, learning is only carried out to fulfill the obligation of teacher to teach and student to learn without giving the burden of achieving instruction goal. New breakthrough thought need to teach critical thinking skill during the COVID, namely argumentation and flipped learning model or AFL model. Avigar, Osborne, McNeil, Gonzalez, Katz, and Lopes. Argumentation are needed by teachers and students. Arguments are naturally follow the physical and psychological development of students, but are very dependent on environment and practice. Therefore, argumentation must be trained so that someone is able to argue well. The argumentation will come from the word argument, which means a refutation or reason to reject an opinion, idea, stance, or idea of another person by giving rational and objective reason. In everyday life, arguments are simply interpreted by arguing to defend each other's idea. According to Tolman, argumentation has 6 components to analyze argument, namely claim, position statement, data or fact, warrant organ, facts or support, model qualifier or modality statement, and rebuttal or expression rebuttal. A definition of argument is that data, an event that is produced based on an experiment, observation, or thought, whereas the real from experiment, observation, or thought. Taking theories or ideas that support the data. Qualifier, the word extend to data strengthen claims in relation to evidence. Rebuttal, a situation where evidence is ignored. Claim, the occurrence of an event due to a factor or a thing. Flipped learning or FL. The use of the argumentation model in online learning requires on more learning model. This is intended to be compatible with online submission. One of the learning model in question is the reverse learning model, flipped learning or FL. The application of this mixed model is intended so the student try to get 20th century content learning on of which is critical thinking skill can be implemented. Flipped learning is the result of innovative learning model from a chemistry teacher in Colorado who in 27 left the classroom, so he could not teach in the classroom. The teacher make a recording of the learning process that is given to students via YouTube before doing learning in class. Furthermore, students are asked to study the material to be discussed in meetings, but only on offline. Next with FL, in this development, it is often defined as school work at home and homework at school. So, flipped learning is approach that allow doing various methodologies and reverse classroom. In that flipped learning, the nature of flipped learning is minimize direct learning from the teacher and maximize indirect learning to students with material support that can be accessed online by the student concerned. The natural is very suitable for learning during the pandemic to COVID, the transmission of COVID-19. Flipped learning has characteristics among others as a means to increase interaction and personal contact time between teachers, and students, providing opportunities for students to be responsible for the learning materials delivered by teacher, placing the teacher's position as a motivator and dynamis in the learning process. Applying constructivist learning, giving an opportunity for students to adapt to learning material presented by the teachers when the student concerned cannot participate in learning together with of the student as a gathering place for all students involved in the learning process and a place where students receive personalized learning. This problem, how is the validity of the FFL model to improve critical thinking skill during the COVID-19? The AF model meets the validity if content validity and construct validity are declared valid and statistically analysis of the percentage of agreement is above 79%. Likewise, the learning tool must also meet the validity statistical analysis of the percentage of agreement above 17 and 5%. Sorry. Research focus. The focus of this research is the IFL model that meets the validity of improving critical thinking skill in the COVID-19. The research question that are what is the validity of the EFL model in its learning tool? Research methodology, instrument on procedure. The EFL model its learning tool have been compiled tested for validity by given science education expert, science assessment expert, and science expert to test the validity of EFL learning model and tool. Data analysis. The study uses data on the validity of the model. The validity data contains the validity of the content and the validity of the model construct and the validity of the learning tool. The assessment uses ordinal scale, very valid, quite valid, less valid, invalid. While testing the validity of the model and learning tool is presence of agreement, where is high score of validator and B is the low score of validator. Orange. Okay. Content validity, construct validity, this like in computer, and result is valid, very valid, and reliable. Okay, conclusion. The conclusion obtained from this study are that the EFL model is declared valid to improve the critical thinking skill of junior high school students during the COVID-19, with the results of the quantity and construct validity test of the EFL model in very valid criteria with reliability above 7 and 5%, and test the validity and learning device in valid criteria with reliability above 17 and 5%. Thank you. Oke, terima kasih. Thank you very much.
Yes. Thank you, Bapak, for nice presentation. You have to wait for a moment first. We will, right after the third presentation, we are going to have a question and answer session. Okay. Well, now we come to the third presenter, Bapak Arif Wibisono. Are you ready for having the presentation, Bapak?
Yes, I'm ready.
Ya, Bapak Ibu, ladies and gentlemen, Bapak Arif Wibisono is a team with Ibu Noviana Dini Rahmawati. They are from Universitas PGRI Semarang. The title of the paper is effectiveness of VAR based educational games in trigonometry learning in university. Okay, the floor is yours, Bapak.
Okay, thank you for your permit for me. Before I present our material, I want to explain, but I was from another scope, because I'm from technology information, and my partner is from mathematics, so maybe it can be missed. Okay, I'm start to explain our presentation. They have a main topic. The effectiveness of VAR. VAR, it's mean virtual augmented reality. That was technology to make blended from reality and virtual technology. This technology implement to educational games in trigonometry learning in our university. Trigonometry is a field of mathematics that students find very difficult and abstract compared to other subjects. Is from a research from GUR in 2009. And the second, educator needs to encourage student interest in learning trigonometry, and teacher need to acquire pedagogical knowledge and be able to apply innovative learning media in teaching trigonometry. From Somalia in 2010, 2020. AR and VR technology have shown that can be effective to teach information about science, but technology to provide new innovation in the interesting world of education. It's from research by Huang, Francis, Bumis, and Fordham in 2019. Trigonometry learning at Unimus Semarang still use media in the form of textbook and has not implemented a technology-based media. So the research problem is how effective is the VAR-based education game in learning trigonometry we implement to our university. The research methods, this type of research is research and development. The data analysis technique of this research and distribution use normality test, homogeneity test, and t-test. And the development procedure using the IDDI model is, the first is analysis, the second is design, the third is development, and the fourth implementation, and the last is evaluation. So circle cycles. Result and discussion for normality test. There are two classes. First class is experiment, and the second class is control. Is maybe is more participant is familiar for this test. For the class experiment, and is 25, and lower is 0.115, and L table is 0.173. For the decision for the experiment class is normal distribution. And same for the control class, and the N score is 22, the LO score is 0.137, and the L table is 0.184. The decision is a normal distribution. They are use a homogeneity test tool from calculation with Microsoft Excel obtain FCON is 1.57 with alpha is 0.05 and the decay and the numerator is 25. They have a result is 24 and the decay, the denominator is 21. So it can be conclude that the variance between group is homogeneous or same. Okay, for the student response result is a student. Maybe I can share. Maybe can help me to show our research documentation. Maybe Bu moderator can help me to show our research documentation.
Wait a minute. Ya, Mas Amir. Halo, Mas Amir. Halo, Mas Amir, bisa bantu saya? Halo, Mas Amir.
Boleh saya bantu, Bu? Maaf, tadi saya nggak ada
Oh
sinyal.
iya. Oke. Iya. Silakan Ibu. Ya. You may share.
Iya,
share screen. Ya.
Arif?
Yeah, for the research documentation, our product research documentation. Yeah, okay, this one. There are our research documentation was virtual augmented reality that used for implementation for to teach algorithm. Oh, I'm sorry. To teach what this mean mathematics. Yeah. Yeah, that use a game model to teach our material. So there are a virtual augmented reality that was in the for our first presentation. Okay, maybe that's all. Thank you for moderator.
Yes. Thank you, Pak Arif Wibisono, Bu Noviana. Well, ladies and gentlemen, Bapak Ibu, we are now going to have question and answer session. As we have, as I told you before, for the part of this presentation, there will have 3 presenters for the first part. So I'd like you, or I invite you all to give some question for the 3 presenters. You may raise your hand. I mean, you may give a notif to choosing raise hand in the Zoom conference, and then you can open your speaker, and then you can say you can start to ask the question. Okay, Bapak Ibu, ladies and gentlemen, would you provide some question for the presenters?
Next.
Okay, let me check. I get one question. Wait a minute. Let me check first. Yeah. Okay, I got one question for Ma'am Evelyn. This is the question from Dr. Bell. Let me read. Yeah, let me read. You have a very interesting study, ma'am, since your work is community-based. My question is, what extension activity or developmental program can you possibly conduct based on the results of your study?
All right. Thank you so much, Ma'am Bell. I believe we are in the same country, Philippines. I'm glad that you have an interest on my study. Actually, the very reason why I conducted that study, because I am under the Office of Gender and Development, and spouses is one of the interest of my office. So why spouses, they are engaging in seaweed farming. So I was thinking if how was the reproductive role and how was the marital satisfaction is going on between them or among them, because they've been busy doing their seaweed farming. So with that, because I wanted to put input in that particular aspect of their lives, especially in their being husband and wife. So actually, we have conducted already the we have conducted already the parenting seminar, workshop on parenting as one of the lined up seminar workshop for that we have for under gender and development. So we have conducted that seminar on parenting, responsible parenting or responsible parenthood, and also under research and extension, which I also collaborated with, we have conducted skills training on how to make other products out of seaweeds. Whereby we stayed there for 5 days. We stayed there for 5 days for conducting the seminar workshop and the seminar and the extension activity. And it was followed by several times of returning and doing the follow-up and sharing skills to the spouses. So from that, they were able to make crackers, cakes, and other pastry, noodles out of, and even wine from seaweeds. Ma'am Bell?
Yeah. Dr. Bell, would you like to say something about?
Yeah, thank you, Ma'am Evelyn.
Yeah.
I am into gender and development too, ma'am.
Yeah.
So it's really a small world. We are in Indonesia.
Yes, ma'am. Actually, my interest of research mostly are in gender, ma'am. So because been working in gender, I am genderized, ma'am, an advocate of gender equality and equity.
Congratulations, ma'am. May I just have maybe a suggestion, if
yes, ma'am,
if it is okay with you, ma'am?
Okay, ma'am. Okay.
Because your work is very rich in data, how you correlated the variables gave you meaning to your data. And just a suggestion, ma'am,
yes,
why not make perhaps an extension model out of your results, which your office can also use as a framework in doing your extension work. so that, ma'am, the result of your research will be very, very useful in the university. Congratulations, ma'am, for a job.
I will take note and try to work on that, ma'am. Thank you so much.
Congrats, Ma'am Eva.
Thank you, Ma'am Bell or Doc Bell. Thank you.
Okay, Ma'am Evelyn,
Yes, ma'am.
that was very interesting. Yeah, actually, I have the same interest. I mean, I like the way you explain about this is related with gender, and that's very nice. There's a research talking about seaweed and things like that, and I got more information about the benefit part of farming, seaweed farming. Yeah. Okay. Well, Bapak Ibu, ladies and gentlemen, in the chat room, I got one question more. This is for Pak Wahid. I'll read first. What are, sorry, this is from Ibu Dr. Siti Maisaro, right? Ibu Dr. Siti Maisaro sudah on cam. Okay, Bapak. The question is, what are the recommendations for the next researcher?
Okay.
Ya, silakan Bapak.
Okay, thanks. Question for me, yes. What are the recommendations for the next researcher? Next research is after validity is practicality, then effectiveness. Practicality related to the implementation of lesson plans, and effectiveness related to the material of critical thinking skill. This answer. Okay, moderator.
Ya, Ibu Dr. Siti Maisaro, you want to say something about Pak Wahid answers?
Yes.
Maybe you want to respond more?
After validity is practicality, and then effectiveness. Practicality related to implementation of lesson plans, and effectiveness the material of critical thinking skill student. Oke, gitu.
Ya, cukup, terima kasih. Thank
you. Ya, thank you, Ibu. So, Bapak Ibu, ladies and gentlemen, that's two questions for two presenters at the first part. I still invite you to have a live question and answer session. You may put your hand, raise hand. Bapak Ibu, maybe we still have one presenter who haven't got the question from you all. The topic, the title is effectiveness of VAR-based educational games in trigonometry learning in university, presented by Ibu Noviana and Bapak Arif Wibisono. Bapak Ibu, is there something that you like to ask to them about this one? I think this is very interesting topic, talking about virtual augmented reality base. Pak Arif? Yeah, Pak, maybe I'm going to, stimulate. Yeah, I hope that Bapak Ibu or other participant and presenters like to ask you more about this one, VAR. Bapak, can you explain in short, maybe in practical one, how can we apply this kind of VAR inside the teaching learning process, Bapak? I mean, if you are not coming from mathematics department, maybe you can put in general education. I mean, I don't know, you may choose one example for higher level education, things like that. Still, since you are teaching in university, right? So
Yeah.
can you give us example how to apply this VAR in teaching learning process as a lecturer?
Yeah, maybe I'm concerned for the technology.
Yeah.
Because for the pandemic situation is a change our how to we teach, how to we communicate it to our student. Firstly, I'm try to new technology, virtual reality, to make sure that our student interest for my subject or for my learning, of course. But it not only technology that we can use to teach, but many another technology that we can use to teach. But in this topic, I'm try to represent virtual augmented reality. This technology is free. You can implement to another subjects maybe. I'm use Unity. Unity is a simple and free technology. So we can use to teach. We can use to make our teach more interesting to our student. So yeah.
Is there any example, maybe Bapak, if you can share us, what is the Unity like?
Unity is one of application to make virtual reality. Yeah, we can search on the Google Unity. There are many options, free version or a pay version. So you can choose maybe for a free version. Yeah, it's simple.
Yeah.
It's simple.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you, Pak Arif. That was very informative, especially in this pandemic, right? I mean, like or dislike, we are pushed by the condition to have this kind of teaching learning process. I mean, everything should be online. Everything should be based on the virtual things. That's actually somehow hard, especially for me.
Yeah, especially for me too. Yeah,
Yeah.
especially. Yeah, many teachers get a problem with online teaching. Yeah.
Yes. Well, that's very nice, Bapak Ibu. Very nice presentation from three presenters in the first part. Now we come to the second part. I check here, Bapak. Let me check first the participants that have not called yet. Is there Bapak Firman here?
Okay.
Oh yeah, okay. And then Bapak Ahmad Bukhari, is there here, Bapak? Oh yeah, okay. And then, wait a minute, Indra Marta Rusmana, is it here? No, not yet. Okay. Well, Bapak Ibu, ladies and gentlemen, now we come to the second part of this panel session. There will be three presenters presented the paper. The first is Bapak Firman from STKIP PGRI Jombang, and then the second is Bapak Ahmad Bukhari from Universitas PGRI Semarang, and then the third is Dr. Bell. Yes, Dr. Bell, you are join the second part. Ready? Yes. Okay, so now we are going to give a chance first for Bapak Firman from STKIP PGRI Jombang, the paper entitled The Implementation of Scramble Model in Improving MIM. I don't think that this is correct. I don't think that this is correct title, Bapak. Forgive us. I think that would be better you try to show directly to us. Okay, Bapak Firman, the floor is yours. Silakan.
Oke, terima kasih. Thank you, Ibu Lulus. Good morning. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Thank you for opportunity for me today to share with you my study in ICETECH today. My topic is the implementation of scramble learning model to improve civic education learning achievement of MIM one Jombang student. This topic very important because civic education in curriculum in Indonesia, main curriculum must achieve pass of student. So the teacher must be success in and improve and creating a conducive classroom. His skill managing in the classroom and media and model.
Bapak Firman, sorry to interrupt. Have you shared screen? Because we cannot see your PowerPoint.
Okay. I have sent the PowerPoint to the committee, organizing committee.
Bapak bisa minta tolong di-share kembali di chat room conference, nanti kami bantu untuk membuka share-nya, screen-nya.
Oke. Mr. Saibani from STKIP, can you help me to share?
Oke, Pak.
Iya, Pak Saibani.
Okay, Pak Firman, you can see on your script.
Okay, thank you, Pak Saibani.
You're welcome.
Bapak Ibu, ladies and gentlemen, the main topic this study, the model of scramble in civic education, the implementation of scramble learning method or model in civic education of MIM. MIM is Madrasah Ibtidaiyah Muhammadiyah. Introduction, a teacher success in creating conducive classroom must be supported by his skill, and then managing the classroom, learning a model, and increase learning motivation, because civic education is the main curriculum in education in Indonesia, must be achieved and must be passed if student move the level up level. The objective this study, number one, the learning achievement of MIM 1 Jombang after the scramble learning model was implemented in the learning. Number two, how civic education learning achievement by student before the scramble model was implemented in the learning. Number three, the application of scramble learning, the application of scramble learning model, improving civic education learning achievement of MIM 1 Jombang student. Next, research design. This research includes quantitative research. This type of research is population research. The sample use 3-4 students of MIM 1 Jombang. The data collection method used are the test, observation, interview, and documentation. This is what's mean design of the research. Variable X, scramble learning method, test evaluation, test result before treatment, test result after treatment, and variable Y, civic learning achievement. Next, Pak Saiba. The result or conclusion is the study. Number one, there is application of the scramble learning model in improving civic learning achievement for grade MIM Jombang. This is evident by the result of statistical data analysis that the alternative hypothesis is accepted with certain criteria. Number two, the average student learning outcome after applying the scramble learning model was 82.55. On the other hand, before the scramble learning model was implemented, the average student learning outcome was 73.81. Therefore, the difference between the two means is 8.74. This shows that the learning process by applying the scramble learning model has a positive effect on improving the civic learning achievement of students of grades 7 Madrasah Ibtidaiyah Muhammadiyah Jombang. The objective of scramble learning model is to create a learning environment that is effective and efficient, fun, meaningful, and more active for the student, and also subject oriented. Thank you, moderator. Very short my presentation. Maybe any question. Thank you, Pak Saiba.
Yeah. Thank you, Pak Firman, for the presentation. We need to wait for a moment. We are going to continue with the second presenter, and then right after the third presenter, we continue with question and answer session. So you need to wait for a moment, Pak Firman. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Now we come to the second presenter, Pak Ahmad Bukhari. Yeah, the title of the paper is The Development of Digital Book Media with Learning Model Contextual Teaching and Learning to Improve Students' Mathematical Economic Problem Solving Skill. Okay, Bapak Ahmad Bukhari, the floor is yours.
Okay, thank you so much. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
In this morning, I want to a presentation about the development digital book media with learning model contextual teaching and learning to improve student mathematical economic problem solving skill. My team is Ahmad Bukhari, Ahmad Agnita Siska Pramasdiasari, and Siti Khalifa. In this morning, my presentation about digital book media is very interesting for me, because this research about learning economic mathematics in junior high school. But Agnita Siska Pramasdiasari is a good lecturer in the research in the junior high school for Semarang. Yeah, Agnita Siska. Hello, Agnita Siska. Okay,
Mr. Bukhari.
Okay, you can explain about this research. Yeah.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Miss Ira, for let us presenting the result of the research.
Hi, operator, Miss Agnita.
I share the screen.
No, me. You can read.
Okay, thank you. So the title of the research is The Development Digital Book Media with Learning Model Contextual Teaching and Learning to Improve Student Mathematical Economic Problem Solving Skills. Why do we did this research? Because the learning mathematics that is fun at school will be able to evoke a sense of excitement, which is the main capital in creating student understanding of the material being studied. That's why this is important for us to make a learning environment is enjoyable. Based on the observation at junior high school for Semarang, the students look less interested, and then less in give more attention during the learning process. Why? Because the learning is still textbook based and less interactive. So these learning activities do not develop students' abilities in the problem solving, reasoning, and the mathematical communication. So what happened with that learning situation in the classroom? The result is most of the students still feel difficulties in the material, particularly in the social arithmetic with conventional learning. And The other one is the student achievement is still under the minimal completeness criteria. So what should we do in this research? We need kind of learning media that can be used by students to an interesting and fun games. And we need also a learning media that can be used by teachers in explaining material or in solving mathematics problems. In this case, we focusing on arithmetic social. And then we need a learning media that can provide concrete picture so that students can improve students' mathematical problem solving ability as well. That's why the researchers apply the learning model, contextual teaching and learning as one of the learning strategies that can help improving students' ability in solving mathematical problems. The methods of this study is a research and development approach, which is we use the AT model. So this is the diagram that we can show to others. In the first process, we need analysis to determine appropriate problems and solution and determining how we can do. And then, sorry, can I share my screen?
Okay.
Yes, Ibu, silakan. Okay, thank you, Miss Ira. On the determine states, specific the competencies, the method, the teaching materials, and then the learning strategies. And this, the third process, we producing the program and teaching materials used in the learning program. And the last two stages, we conduct learning programs by applying the design or specification of the digital book media. And then we will evaluating the learning programs and evaluating the learning outcomes. Okay. Next. This is the results in the validation states. Actually, there are several data that we would like to show, but then because of the limitation of the presentation session, so this is the table that show the validation states. This is the value obtained consisting of several aspects, include concept, feasibility of aspect, presentation aspect, and the competency aspect, and then the inquiry approach. This is the score expected and the feasibility. And the second one is the value that obtained from the several aspects, including the general aspect, the aspect of learning presentation, feasibility of the language, and the feasibility of the integrity. So the percentage reached the 90.33%. From the data that we have already analyzed, it can be got the result like from the calculation of the teacher's response is done to find out the teacher's response to the product based on aspects such as general with a percentage as a whole obtained 87.5%, which includes the criteria very good because it is in the range between 76 until 100. And the second one, from the result of the teacher's response that digital book media with the contextual teaching and learning model to improve students' mathematical problem solving is feasible to use. And the next, from the calculation of the student response, so is that we taking the data from the teacher response, we also collect from the student response. So this is also done to find out the response of student to product based on the aspect, including general aspect. So we got in very good criteria as well at the point of 86.76%. And the last, from the result of the student response, that digital book media with the contextual teaching and learning to improve student mathematical problem solving is feasible to use as well. So the conclusion that we can draw is the data analysis was carried out quantitatively performed on normalized gain averages between the two groups of sample using the t-test, and the learning mathematics with a contextual approach was significantly better in improving comprehensive and solving skill student mathematical problems compared to the conventional learning. Okay, this is the end of our presentation. Thank you for your attention. Thank you, Miss Ira.
Thank you, Miss Agnita.
Yeah, you are welcome, Pak Bukhari and Bu Agnita. Bapak Ibu, ladies and gentlemen, we have heard the presentation and watched the presentation. Now we come to the second presenter. The third presenter. The presenter is Dr. Bell. Dr. Bell, are you ready? Where are you?
Yes, Ibu.
Yeah, okay. Okay, Bapak Ibu, Dr. Bell is from Ilocos Polytechnic State College. The title of the paper is Virtual Students Mobility, the Life Experience of Exchange Students in a Higher Education Institution in Asia. Dr. Bell, the floor is yours.
Can you see my slide?
Yes, Dr. Bell, we can see it here.
Thank you, thank you. Good morning to each and every one of us. Magandang umaga. That's the Tagalog for good morning.
Wow.
So it's in Ilocano we say naimbag na malim. Okay. So the title of my study is Virtual Student Mobility, the lived experience of exchange students in a higher education institution in Asia. So this is the context. I have enumerated 3 contexts which led me to the study. First, okay, the mobility of students to study abroad is an increasing phenomenon in higher education institutions globally. There is no question that internationalization, and particularly international student mobility, has transformed the higher education landscape in the last decade, which has brought diverse benefits to students, institutions, communities, and countries. Nevertheless, the international student mobility also creates new challenges for institutions of higher education. Thus, universities must prepare their students for such globalized environment, thus enabling their graduates to be more employable. Internationalization, that's the second context, has dramatically transformed the heart of the teaching and learning process, the curriculum. It has changed its dimension into the international level, where it has progressed from an area studies and foreign language approach to the integration of international, global, intercultural, and comparative perspectives into the teaching and learning process and program content. It is also prevalent in the curriculum, an emphasis on student learning outcomes, which includes international and intercultural knowledge, skills, and values, where the academic mobility has moved from people to program mobility. The third context is the COVID-19 pandemic may have paralyzed during the early months of its desolation the internationalization efforts of not just Philippine higher education institutions, but higher education institutions worldwide by hindering the physical mobility of the students. Yet, the Ilocos Polytechnic State College, located in North Luzon, Philippines, found a way to take the challenge of the pandemic an opportunity instead to internationalize through the use of emerging information and communication technologies. During the pandemic, classes in ISPSC have shifted to blended flexible learning. However, it is not only its regular classes migrating from the traditional face-to-face classes to the online platform. Rather, it launched its first ever international credit transfer program with an Indonesian university virtually. As ICTs have flourished over the years, who would have thought that they can actually become platforms for enormous opportunities offered by virtual mobility? So here are my reflections, okay, coming from the context I have mentioned. So with these new dimensions of student mobility and the accelerated phase of change of international education, the researcher can't help but reflect on these preliminary questions. Number one, what do students bring home from their virtual student exchange experience? May I emphasize the word virtual? Because in the past, before the pandemic, we don't really do virtual student exchange, but what we do was the traditional face-to-face, where our students go directly to the host university. Like for example, if we have a partner in Indonesia, UNIPMA for example, our students will go directly to UNIPMA. But because of the pandemic, the exchange is now virtual. So the question again is, what do students bring home from this virtual experience? And second one is, how educational and transformative are their virtual experiences to say that the virtual mobility is not just like their other local or regular online classes. So hence, the researcher find the necessity to study this complex phenomenon by attempting to describe and understand the lived experiences of the virtual exchange students in a higher education institution in Ilocos Sur, Philippines, with the research question, how is it to be a virtually exchanged student? So here is the methodology. So again, the purpose of this study was to gain an understanding on the experiences of the virtually exchanged students as they attended classes in an Indonesian university online. Phenomenology was used to explore the day-to-day lived experiences of these students. Phenomenology is a method used to describe, interpret, and understand lived experience in an effort to discover meaning rather than to explain and predict. And because phenomenology examines the meaning that lived experience has in people's lives, it is a valuable research method in this study. So, who are the participants in this work? So there were 16 Filipino education students from our two campuses. We have Santa Maria and Tagudin campuses, who served as, these 16 students served as the participants of the study. So actually we sent 16, so all of them were participants of this study. So they were chosen to participate in the one-semester international credit transfer program, commencing from March 2020 to July 2021. So as you can see, the program is still fresh, okay? So which was an offshoot of the partnership of Universitas PGRI Madiun, Indonesia, and the Ilocos Sur Polytechnic State College, Philippines. This is the first time that ISPSC sent its student for international program. So there were two data gathering vehicles which I used as a researcher. First vehicle was the journal entries, and the other vehicle was the in-depth interviews. So for the data gathering procedure and ethical considerations, for the journal entries, the 16 student participants submitted their portfolio, which contained their journal entries. In the journal entries, we asked the the students to do their weekly journal entries, and at the end of the month, they will do certain reflections from their journal entries weekly. So the students were informed that their journal entries will be one of the sources of data for this study. So the in-depth interviews were done with 10 from the 16 students who were randomly selected. The 25-minute average online interview was scheduled at a time and platform convenient to each 10 participants. Google Meet was used to interview each participant because we cannot really do face-to-face because of quarantine and lockdown issues in Ilocos Sur. So before the start of the interview, the researcher informed the participants that the interview was audio recorded and will be transcribed. So information they revealed will be kept confidential, and that their names will not be mentioned in the submitted output. So for the data analysis, we use a thematic analysis, and the determination of the themes were done both for journal entries and in-depth interviews to grab the essence of the phenomenon and answer the research questions. Okay, so this time I would like to share to you the findings and discussions. So the first theme which emerged is enhancing the 4 macro skills. So I have shared to you in the screen the direct statements. So these are the direct statements of the students which I got from their journal entries and their interviews. So I would like to go directly to the discussion of what the findings are. So in the first theme, okay, so the experiences of the Filipino virtual exchange students coincide with the experiences of other students who also had experience using IT as a social network as supplemental platforms in their English classes, where they affirmed that their English macro skills improved. So theorizing from the results, the shift of the platform from the old supplemental role of the online platform, because in literatures we have reviewed, it says there that before the pandemic, most universities only use the online platform as supplemental platform. But this time we have to take note that the online platform is not a supplemental platform, but a major platform, especially for the virtual student mobility program. Okay, so this main platform that we have now, which is the online platform, for the teaching and learning process, was not seen as hindrance of the students. Rather, they look at the present context as opportunities to explore possibilities of improving their skills, especially to the commonly neglected skills during the old normal teaching and learning, such as reading and writing. The students felt as if they were physically present in Indonesia. This means that despite the fact that the classes were done virtually, the platform was just a channel which brought the students to Indonesia. The meaningful experiences were present and were brought home by our students. Now, for the second theme, we have reducing affective filters. Okay, so here are the direct quotations coming from our students. So, theorizing from these findings, the virtual mobility definitely reduced the affective filters. By the way, when we say affective filters, these are psychological hindrances affecting a student or a person in acquiring, for example, the second language, which is English. Okay, so again, the virtual mobility definitely reduced the affective filters such as shyness, lack of confidence, unsupportive learning environment, and stiff competition usually found in the old normal classroom teaching and learning. The new space provided a healthy environment where the learners were able to freely express themselves without anxiety. Despite being held virtually, the classes were found conducive and convenient for learning by the participants. This means that the virtual mobility offers borderless education, but leaves a distinct emotional imprint, which facilitates the acquisition of learning, especially the second language. Okay, so the third theme is igniting patriotism. The students involved in the virtual international mobility program experience changes in their own sense of identity and their perception of other cultural practices and attitudes. Consciously and unconsciously, they compared and contrasted their cultural practices and attitudes to and from their counterparts. These reflections rekindled their being Filipinos and drove them further to appreciate where they came from and who they are as Filipinos. They also carried with them pride and joy as they performed well in that particular arena, because they were not only performing as students of ISPSC, but they were performing as Filipinos. Okay, the next theme which transpired was acquiring digital literacy. And actually, this is one significant input we got from this study. So going directly to the discussion, the student participants concede that the emerging technologies are the new platforms for learning, meaning they really have to embrace it, whether they like it or not. Okay, though they were seemingly pushed, I remember the term of Ibu Lulu a while ago, the term push, no? To go online or digital, these technologies have proven its enormous potential on creating and sharing knowledge across two countries, the Philippines and Indonesia. The new online exposure provides limitless resources, but the students at the same time also develop along the way watchful eyes and critical thinking skills on deciphering legitimate from illegitimate resources or sources. Okay, so the last one is instilling 21st century skills. Okay, so the internet-based collaboration provided joint actions from the students in a multilingual and highly diverse classroom. In the cross-border classrooms, the students were required to solve problems within the framework of the courses, communicate, brainstorm together using the online platform, and manifest flexibility because of the synchronous and asynchronous classes, thus acquiring the skills of 21st century learners. I would like to share to you the musings I have based from the results or from the findings of this study. So the ISPSC students who participated in the International Credit Transfer Program brought home new scholarships through the use of the online platform as their main vehicle of the teaching and learning process. The students' writing, reading, listening, and speaking competencies were honed. These competencies were recognized by the students themselves as their setbacks in the traditional classroom setup. Aside from academic enhancement, the experience taught the students to look back and reflect on being Filipinos. The students found themselves proud of their ethnicity and revived their love for their country. These thoughts serve as their internal motivations to be better versions of themselves. Being able to distinguish credible sites and legitimate sources found in the internet is also one major takeaway of the participants from the program. Being analytic, critical, and cautious with what they view and share is a must for future teachers like them. For these are the necessary literacies they also have to impart to their future students. Aside from being digitally literate, other 21st century skills the student took with them as they returned home were problem solving, communication, and flexibility. The virtual mobility of the exchange students is perceived as a channel which brought the students international exposure, where the learning space is multilingual and culturally diverse. The virtual mobility, hence, is not similar to the other local or regular online classes of the exchange students, for it offered different, enormous, and life-changing experiences to them. So with the things that we have gathered, we have interpreted, analyzed, we have digest our insights, the Office of the Internationalization and Networking was able to create our transformation framework. And I would like to share this to you, what we have created as our model or framework while we do our internationalization initiatives. So basically, the framework is divided into 4. We have impact on students, curriculum, teaching, and infrastructure. And later on, as a future direction of the next steps that we are going to do, later on, we will also evaluate how this framework will work in our context. So thank you for listening, everyone. I am ready for any questions, comments, or suggestions. Thank you very much.
Yes. Thank you, Dr. Bell, for the presentation. That was very nice. And that's about CTI, right?
Yes.
Yes. Okay, Bapak Ibu, ladies and gentlemen, now we come to the question and answer session of the part 2. As I told you before, that you may drop your question in the chat, but I think I haven't seen the question yet in the chat, so I'm going to invite you directly to have some question or to give some question to the 3 presenters of the part 2. Bapak Ibu, please do not hesitate to ask some question to the presenters. Okay, I think I'm going to refresh again. The first presenter is Bapak Firman. The title is The Implementation of Scramble Model in Improving Civic Education, right, Bapak? About the students' achievement. And then the second presenter is Bapak Ahmad Bukhari and Ibu Agnita. The title of the paper is The Development of Digital Book Media with Learning Model Contextual Teaching and Learning to Improve Students' Mathematical Economic Problem Solving Skills. And then the last presenters, I mean in part 2, Dr. Bell. The title is Virtual Student Mobility, the Life Experience of Exchange Students in a Higher Education Institution in Asia. That's the title, Bapak Ibu. Maybe those titles can help you to recall the memory of the presentation, and you can try to have or share some question here. You may raise or you may put sign of raise hand in the room. Bapak Ibu. I think these 3 presenters having almost similar part of discussion, right, Bapak Ibu? Talking about things related with digital one or virtual one. Bapak Ibu, Or maybe I need to stimulate again. Yeah, Bapak Ibu, actually I'm glad to be the moderator. I learned a lot from the paper that you have shared here. That's why actually I have my own what is it, my own interest in seeing and joining this presentation. So I'm going to try the first. Maybe this thing can be a kind of stimulation for you to have more questions, I think. I would like to give my first stimulation for Dr. Bell. I'm interested with what you have shared because this is related with our university, Universitas PGRI Madiun, and I believe one of my colleagues have taught your students also. So what about, is there anything that your student told you, things like maybe culture shock or activities inside the classroom that can be different or things like that, Dr. Bell? Yeah.
Yeah. Actually, it was not part of the presentation, but I would like to answer you with what but based on what I have read in the journals. Okay, I think I have an answer for you to that question. Okay, so they think that classes in UNIPMA were managed excellently, wherein the professors were available 24/7 and very considerate. Also, they felt really lucky that they were able to be mentored or lectured or hear lectures, not only from Indonesian professors, but also from foreign lecturers. So with that, they are very thankful that they had really that exposure in UNIPMA. I think, Ibu, that's one good practice of UNIPMA. So keep it up, Ibu.
Thank you, Dr. Bell. Of course, I'm going to say that thing to my rector or maybe our dean, my dean, I think. Yeah, one thing, Dr. Bell, I still remember when you show the presentation, one of the data show us that the student told about the requirement is about heavy. Can you explain more about that?
Okay. Yeah. Okay. So what they mean in heavy is they have a lot of subjects during that semester. So each subject has its own requirements. Each subject has its schedule for synchronous and asynchronous classes. So I think they draw that word heavy, not particularly on the requirements solely coming from UNIPMA, but also perhaps a part of that would be the requirements they have in their subjects taken in the Philippines.
Sorry. Thank you, Dr. Bell. That was very nice. Bapak Ibu, is there anything to say for Dr. Bell, Pak Ahmad Bukhari, and Pak Firman?
No question.
Okay, I think I'm going to try to provide
Okay.
Yeah, stimulation, things like that.
Okay.
Well, Pak Ahmad Bukhari and Bu Agnita, that was very nice information. Show us that you try to develop digital book media, and I believe that's not easy, right? So,
Okay.
yeah, I know that this is talking about the students' mathematical, economic problem-solving skill.
Okay.
So, this is for a university student or for
Uni-High
lower
School.
level? For
Uni-High School, SMP.
for high school.
Yeah, Junior High
Yeah.
School.
Junior
High School.
Oh, okay. Can you tell us again, maybe what things that you have, what is it, the more challenging in providing this digital book media, Pak Ahmad Bukhari and Ibu Agnita?
Okay, Miss Ira, and this product digital book can make with Flipbook Maker and then Adobe Flash, CSS, can combine with CTL atau contextual teaching and learning in the Semarang city, because my product is especially to explain about arithmetic, especially economic mathematics, such as for example Bu Agnita, for example bunga, ya, bunga. Because my student in the junior high school for Semarang is very difficulty to count bunga. Bunga bahasa Inggrisnya apa, Bu Agnita?
Interest rate, Pak Bukhari. Interest rate.
Interest rate. Ya, bahasa Inggrisnya susah. Okay. Because
pokoknya bukan flower ya Pak ya.
Okay. This Miss Agnita is to explain about bunga tadi. Because to combine with contextual teaching and learning in Semarang City. Okay. Okay, Miss Agnita, you can give opinion about digital book with Flipbook Maker on and then with Adobe Flash. Yeah. Okay.
Thank you, Ms. Ira. Actually, one of the challenging period when creating this kind of project actually is embedding the program. I mean, since the learning process is conducting in the online teaching, that's why it's encouraged us to develop kind of digital model book like that. And then we are also facing the situation in the junior high school that the student in the, particularly in the junior high school in Semarang, related to the interest rate in the material arithmetica social. So when we are trying to integrate the material into the software that we use, it's kind of challenging session, because we have to choose and then consider which kind of material that is suitable to be involved in this kind of digital book like that. But after all the thing it's wrapped with the successful process in developing this media. I think that's all.
Wow, thank you, Bu Agnita.
Okay.
Yeah, that's very innovative, I think, for junior high school, right? Pak, so Bapak Ibu, ladies and gentlemen, anything more question maybe for Pak Firman? Where is Pak Firman? Oh yeah, Pak Firman. Okay, Pak Firman, your research is in madrasah ibtidaiyah. Betul, Pak. Is it right,
Yeah.
Pak Firman?
Yes, that's correct.
Yeah. Oh, okay. So, can you maybe explain again about the connection, not the connection actually, the relationship between the scramble model that you provide for the students with the the student achievement, things like right after the student have or having this scramble can help them to learn civic, or what do you think, Bapak?
Civic education. Okay. Thank you.
Yeah.
Question. The study showed the average student learning outcome after applying the scramble model increase or improve a point of was 73.81. Therefore, the difference between after and before scramble applied show that the scramble learning model is to create a learning environment that is is effective and efficient. Yes, ma'am.
Okay, thank you, Bapak. Well, Bapak Ibu, ladies and gentlemen, that's about the second part of the presentation. Now we come to the third one, the last one. The presentation will be playing through video. Mas Amir, sudah siap ya? The video, there will be two video played. The first is the video from the paper title is Thought Episteme System About Women in Trilogy on Roro Mendut novel by Y.B. Mangunwijaya. The authors are Ibu Siti Maisyarah, Muhammad Saibani, Saibani Wiyanto. Halo Pak Saibani. From from STKI PGRI Jombang, and then the second video from Cynthia Mongascarino, Miss Cynthia Mongascarino from Ilocos Polytechnic State College. The paper title is Life Experiences of Part-Time Instructors with Meager Salary, a phenomenological study. Okay, Bapak Ibu, let's enjoy the video. And right after the video, Bapak Ibu, ladies and gentlemen, you may ask the question directly to the authors. Mas Amir, silahkan.
A pleasant day to each and everyone. First of all, I'd like to say thank you to the International Conference on Education and Technology 2021, or ICETECH 2021. I am Cynthia Mongascarino from the Ilocos Polytechnic State College, and I am thankful for giving me the chance to present this research study. The title of my research is Lived Experiences of Part-Time Instructors with Meager Salary, here at Ilocos Polytechnic State College. This study was conducted to understand the life of the part-time instructors of the Ilocos Polytechnic State College. Qualitative design using phenomenological perspective in understanding the lived experiences of the respondents was utilized. The primary data collection method was unstructured interview. Data were coded and analyzed according to the research questions. And the research resulted in 3 major themes, which are the participants' major problems, aside from the insufficient salary, is their lack of professional growth. Second, they employed various coping mechanisms to manage their meager salary. Third, having faculty development programs such as trainings, seminars, and scholarship grants. And lastly, to upgrade their salary. This study revealed that their income was not enough and they need to work hard by having extra jobs. Their life revolved around sidelines, online business, and sometimes borrowing money to sustain their needs. There were recommendations given in this study wherein instructors concerned and the school administration may consider in elevating the status of the part-time employees. Actually, here in the Philippines, teachers are the heart of the school system. They are among the most unpaid workers given the workload and service in the society. They receive a basic salary that does not commensurate to their very significant contribution. Here in our country, Philippines, the national average salary of a part-time instructor is 138 pesos per hour. The 125 pesos per hour is considered very low and the 150 per hour is high. Yearly, in the Ilocos Polytechnic State College, the administration is hiring faculty needed for its 6 campuses. However, dearth of faculty applicants who can meet the minimum requirements such as master's degree holder in line with their specialization is the main problem. Hence, is the hiring of part-time and contractual instructors to strengthen the teaching force of the college. The main purpose of this study is to explore the experiences and understand the life of part-time instructors of the college with the hope that through this study, the voice of our part-time instructors may be heard. And for the research question, we have the following. What challenges or problems do you usually experience as part-time instructor? What coping mechanism do you employ with the challenges or problems you encountered? And lastly, what faculty development program intended for part-time instructors do you want to suggest? For the setting and participants of the study, the setting is here at the Ilocos Polytechnic State College, having 5 participants, wherein 1 male and 4 females. The researcher used the unstructured one-on-one interview. For the data instrument and procedures, I used the Colysis methodology. This is an approach to interpret the qualitative research data to identify meaningful information and organize into themes or categories. The whole process involves 2 general steps, the cool and warm analysis. The researcher captured personal experiences and drew out rich descriptions and deep meaning from the participants as they describe the nature of their life as part-time instructors. 5 participants were utilized to provide the evidence needed to understand the lived experiences of these part-time instructors here at ISPSC. After the interview, the researcher assured that the participants and all the information obtained from them will be kept confidential, and they will, the researcher will use pseudonyms to protect their privacy. For the analysis of themes, we have theme number 1. The part-time instructors' major challenges or problems involve lack of professional growth and insufficient salary. The part-time instructors, in their own perspective and experiences, revealed that their salary was not enough and that they need to cope with this meagerness to sustain their needs. Theme number 2. part-time instructors employed various coping mechanisms to manage their meager salary. Teachers do find ways to sustain their family needs. They tend to have sidelines, they engage in business to earn extra income, to meet their daily basic needs and their family, especially those who are married and living with extended family. Another coping mechanism they are using is wise spending or utilization of their income. They also exercise the value of thriftiness, setting priorities such as spending money for their basic needs and not for what they want. Theme number 3. The participants wanted to have faculty development programs intended for them, such as involvement in seminars, attending trainings, and scholarship grants for their professional growths. The participants see the value of their own professional growth while they stay here at the college. Despite their meager income, still, they are much eager to continue their study and learn more so they could impart the necessary knowledge and skills to their students. However, because of the meagerness of their salary, most of the participants cannot afford to enroll in the graduate school. Because of this reason, it is hard for them to comply with the minimum requirements, which is to have a master's degree, to be qualified as regular or permanent faculty of the college. So only one among the participants is enrolled in the graduate school during the interview. And lastly, participants wish to upgrade their salary and be released on time. This is always the problem of our part-time instructors, and thank you for listening.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Thank you for the opportunity. I am Siti Maisarah as the first author of this study, and the corresponding author, my partner Muhammad Saibani. We'll start presenting our study about the thought system, episteme of women in the trilogy of Romantic novel by J.P. Mangunwijaya. Abstract. This study I am to describe the thought system of women in the trilogy of the Romantic novel by J.P. Mangunwijaya. In this study, we adopted Michel Foucault archaeology of knowledge method. The data were collected from the trilogy of Romantic by J.P. Mangunwijaya, consisting of 3 novels, Romantic, Kunduduku, and Lusilindri, published by PT Gramedia Pustaka Utama. We collect the data through library documentation. Our data analysis method, the descriptive method under the guidance of Michel Foucault, the archaeology of knowledge theory. The study found that the women's system of thought in the novel explains us. The system of thought about women in the eyes of aristocrats were treated as decoration, even as an inanimate object who had no soul, and their dignity was never ever and even in the mind of aristocrats. Second, the system of thought about women who were associated with power and authority by the Mataram aristocrat. The third, the system of thought about women and its close relation to sacredness. Our agenda topics on introduction, research methodology, result finding, and conclusion and recommendation. Introduction. Women in a patriarchal system of thought. The system places women as binary. They recognize women for their existence as individuals who also have natural advantage over men. Women's physical condition and social position are often considered weak, not as strong as men, and often tend to be opposed. Women's depiction in Romantic novel by J.P. Mangunwijaya, millennial and or modern women's character were depicted in JB's Romantic novel trilogy as Romantic, Javanese woman living in conservative Mataram Kingdom. This novel's depiction of women generally inspired us in seeking for its relation to the theory of feminism, Foucault's episteme specifically. Foucault's episteme. This study used the concept of episteme referring to Foucault's opinion, namely finding and describing a system of thought which is a set component of various rules underlying the discourse set within the novel. Mr. Foucault's archaeology of knowledge. The archaeology of knowledge explains how every era possesses its own system of thought, directing the way science is practiced within the era. episteme, Foucault's sum for the discourse and understanding system functioning as the foundation of different areas. Tunnel caving, three characteristics of Foucault's episteme. The first episteme determines how we see and experience reality. The way we experience reality determines how we see the reality. The second, from the existence of prohibition, to Tyler, Keynes, and Jackson in episteme, it covers and control human knowledge through three kinds of expression: taboo, witness, and falsity. Third, from its relationship with language and reality, Foucault identified language as episteme's tool to organize an episteme. Methodology. This research used library documentation as the data collected method and descriptive method as the data analysis method under the guise of Foucault archaeology of knowledge theory. Foucault archaeology method was carried out through exploring knowledge in the depiction of event and characters relating to the thought system, episteme of women in Roman trilogy novel. Finding research, the thought system of women from the aristocrat perspective, the thought system of women and power, the system women and sacred power. The thought system of women from the aristocrat perspective. All women in Mataram were in the possession of Mataram king with the unwritten law, but widely accepted by Mataram rule class or aristocrat in the novel Mataram Crow Place One State, describing the system of thought about how women in the eyes of aristocrat were perceived as having no soul, honor, and dignity. This perspective were deeply and strongly rooted in Mataram's aristocrat system of thought. The thought system of women and power. In the novel, women and power were described as two sides of the same coin, inseparable and generated connection between each other. Mataram king perceived women as a symbol of power and sacredness. Possessing a woman means possessing power or sacredness. Owning women also means owning power. It's experienced through how Mataram king perceived the incitement of Crow Prince stealing the future wife of Tumenggung Wiraguna, as said below. Roman was identified as the crow of kingdom. It explains through an incident that staggered the anti-Mataram's aristocrat when a war singer Roman refused to marry to Tumenggung Wiraguna instead. The thought system of women and power, hence failing on marrying Roman was analogous to a king who lost his crown or dignity, honor. Roman was designated as a different women figure comparing to the rest of women in the era who didn't have to cut to reject and marriage proposal. Roman was described as a woman who possessed power to pursue her own will and decide her own way of life. Despite opposing the majority accepted non in that era, her percentage and confidence in standing on her own feet are the traits that we usually find in modern women these days. The novel states. The thought system of women and sacredness. Among Javan's aristocrats, women and sacredness were closely related. Owning many women also mean possessing many sacred powers. The archive this call person takes various ways, offending everyone's, forcing or even seizing, although as how Ravana snapshot Dewi Sinta in Wayang. Failing on possessing women mean losing authority or divinity, as described below. Throughout the depiction of Tumenggung Wiraguna, whose marriage proposal was refused by Roman. The thought system of women and sacredness. The great woman depicted during the rise of King Amangkurat I was the Queen of Mataram. Her story explained how the most powerful king could fall into such various space and happiness after the death of this beloved wife. He even managed to behave abnormally. The king could only survive not long after the absence of his wife. He even escaped alone without followers when his kingdom collapsed. In addition to the thought system about women, which in very closely relates to the power and sacredness, women were also described as subordinate, Harriers considered dead objects and not respected for their dignity as described below. Conclusion. with the analysis of archaeology of knowledge in Roro Mendut novel trilogy, Mang Wijaya is a Sappho in the form of philosophical idea. The typical feminism can be found even in the conservative kingdom society through the thought system of women and power, and second, the thought system of women and sacredness. Women were described as a symbol of power by Mataram's Aristotle. They were also depicted as having secret power. Hence, possessing many women also means having many power and sacredness. On the contrast, there is still a binary opposition of women throughout the through system of women from the aristocrat perspective. The findings described how women were oppressed, persecuted, and abused, and treated like inanimate object, while its previously stated women were also described as noble, honorable, ever powerful. Recommendation, academia. The finding of various thought systems about women revealed in this research can be calling for more comprehensive look on the practice of feminism in literature set in conservative Javanese society. Using Foucault's episteme is found beneficial and recommended for analyzing thought system in the literature throughout different eras. For parents, the finding about Roro Mendut's feminism spirit, perseverance, confidence, and independence can be used as a reference for child's character development. For teachers, the findings can be a reference for teaching material in high school and college level. For policymakers, through the perspective of Mataram's aristocrat, toward women revealed in this research, policymakers can utilize them as reference in generating wise decision regarding women issues in the society, such as equality and women's rights. Thank you.
Ya, Bapak Ibu, I think we somehow losing some info, right? Pak Saibani and Ibu Siti Maisarah, you want to say something, maybe, or maybe you want to add more information previously before the conclusion and recommendation. Okay. Bagaimana Pak Saibani? You want to say something?
Actually, I don't want to say something, Bu Lulus, but Bu Maisarah would like to add some information about the article using bahasa Indonesia. May we use Indonesian?
Okay, but you have to translate.
No.
Pak Saibani, sorry to say that we have international presenters. I mean international participant. I think we cannot get some. I mean Dr. Bell and then Miss Evelyn will be a bit difficult, right, to understand if we use Indonesian.
Yeah, I know it so well. But, the first author is from Indonesian, Bu Siti Maisarah. Actually, I'd like to add the information, but I don't know about the contents exactly. But I'd like to add some information. Maybe some participants would like to ask. Okay, so there is no additional information. Thank you.
Yes. Okay, well, Bapak Ibu, ladies and gentlemen, we now come to the question and answer session directly. Miss Cynthia Carino, are you here? Or Bapak Ibu and ladies and gentlemen wants to give some question for Ibu Siti Maisarah and Bapak Saibani?
Karena tadi ngesannya langsung conclusion.
Iya Bu, that's right. See the video only conclusion part and recommendation, but we cannot see the previous one. Kita nggak bisa lihat yang sebelumnya tadi. Ya. Okay. So Bapak Ibu, ladies and gentlemen, no question so far.
Ibu?
Yeah,
Ibu
yeah,
Lulu?
yeah, Dr. Bell.
Yeah, I'm very interested with the study on the feminism, using the feminism framework. Can they possibly give us
ada singgungan
very quick
ada singgungannya, Pak.
presentation of the findings, maybe? Is the one analyzed, Ibu, a novel? Was it? I'm so sorry, I'm from the Philippines, and of course we are not quite aware of the literatures in Indonesia. But I am interested in listening to the findings, because I also do analysis of literature.
Thank you, Dr. Bell.
Ya.
You're welcome.
Ya, Pak Saibani, Bu Siti Maisarah, you may use Indonesian. Bu Siti boleh menggunakan bahasa Indonesia. Jadi intinya adalah Dr. Bell pengen tahu, Ibu. Jadi ceritanya si Roro Mendut itu, karena di situ kata-katanya adalah thought system about women. Jadi mungkin bisa diceritakan tentang di bagian manakah yang memunculkan itu, Bu, dari novel Roro Mendut itu, Bu. Nah, nanti biar Pak Saibani yang using English. Oke, Pak. Kasihan Dr. Bell karena
or maybe
tahu. Iya.
Ibu, perhaps I would just like to hear. I do not know if my question will be right, because I really have not seen the slides. But the literature supposed to be representing the reality in the country where it originates. So do you think the experience of the woman or the main character there is still present in the women, Indonesian women today? And if it is present, I do not know if there is misogyny in there. I don't know. But how do these women overcome maybe the stigma in the society? So I don't know if my question is correct. Ibu dulu. Yeah.
Iya. Bu Siti bisa memahami maksudnya Dr. Bell ya?
Iya.
Iya. Oke, monggo Bu. You may answer using Indonesian. Dr. Bell, don't worry, we have a translator here. Saibani is the colleague of Bu Siti, so it is a wonderful presentation.
Baik, terima kasih Ibu Lulu dan Bu Bel. Roro Mendut, novel Roro Mendut, trilogi Roro Mendut ini ada 3 novel di dalamnya, ada Roro Mendut sendiri, Genduk Duku, dan Lucy Lindri. Ada 3 wanita, 3 wanita perkasa. 3 wanita perkasa. Apakah 3 wanita ini, khususnya Roro Mendut ini, masih bisa berlaku pada wanita era sekarang? Masih sangat. Karena di dalam figur tokoh Roro Mendut ini memfigurkan seorang wanita yang ingin mengekspresikan dirinya sebebas-bebasnya. Dia sangat berusaha ingin terbebas dari kungkungan, tetapi dia berjuang, tidak menyerah pada keadaan, tetapi dia berjuang sangat keras, bahkan sampai pada upaya-upaya yang baik berkaitan dengan masalah politik, juga berkaitan dengan jiwa wirausaha. Jiwa wirausahanya itu dari mana? Pada waktu dia dipresur masalah pajak, dia itu mempunyai inisiatif menjual rokok. Rokok yang dia jual, semakin dia menghisap, nilai jualnya semakin tinggi. Nah, ini. Jadi ada di sini yang bisa diambil nilainya adalah dan juga punya jiwa wirausaha juga si Roro Mendut ini. Dari yang sangat menarik dari Roro Mendut selain jiwa semangat untuk bebas, kemudian merdeka, mengeksplor dirinya sendiri, dia juga memberikan inspirasi bagi pemegang kekuasaan. Sehingga dari pemegang kekuasaan itu pada era sekarang, oh ternyata kekuasaan yang absolut itu bukan kekuasaan yang bagus. Tetapi kalau di teorinya Foucault itu kekuasaan yang bisa didistribusikan. Gitu. Jadi konsepnya Foucault di sini karena knowledge, jadi arkeologi knowledge, jadi arkeologi pengetahuan, dari novel itu kita banyak mendapatkan berbagai macam pengetahuan. Itu teorinya Foucault yang dipakai, sehingga ada kaitannya dengan bidang hukum, politik, kekuasaan, maupun dari bidang ekonomi. Saya kira itu. Terima kasih.
Saibani, the floor is yours. Just make it simple, okay?
Yeah, thank you, Bu Lulus.
Yeah.
Depending on Bu Maisaro explanations, and then I would like to relate it to the question from Dr. Bell Francis from Philippines. The trilogy of this novel, specifically the characteristic of Roro Mendut. Roro Mendut has a good characteristic. It has good in edu or entrepreneurship, and also she is able to be balancing their life into their political life, economical, and also the powerful of the government. So it is still related to the women of Indonesia now. That is one of the culture or the characteristic of Indonesian women. I think it is related to Roro Mendut characteristic. They are good in balancing of their life. Specifically, they can be in independent perspective to the society, to the humans, or to the world, I think. So the characteristic influence the government's policy, not only the political, but also the law or the entrepreneurship policy, I think. I think that's enough, Bu Lulus. I don't know what I say. Thank you.
No, you are correct, Pak.
No.
You have been showing that Indonesian woman is someone or those people who are very hard worker.
Yeah, I agree with you, Bu Lulus, because you are the example here. You always give stimulating to ask the questions to the participants today. Good, I think. I think that is one of the perspective of Indonesian women.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, Dr. Bell. So, what do you think? Is there any more you like to say about Roro Mendut?
Yeah, thank you for that answer. Actually, I'm satisfied with the answer. Yeah. So now I'm thinking that the literature they analyze is some quite contemporary,
yeah,
and really representing the Indonesian women of today.
Yeah,
thank you for your
yeah.
Welcome, Dr. Bell.
Yeah. Well, Bapak Ibu, ladies and gentlemen, that was very nice discussion and presentation, of course. So this concludes the session today. Thank you for the attendance here. I have some info that is from committee. Let me share. Yeah. Bapak Ibu, ladies and gentlemen, can you see my screen? Okay, this is the info from the committee. their certificate is still in process, so it will be sent via email. And then there will be one cycle paper review more conducted by the Atlantis publisher. Of course, your article will be sent to the Atlantis publisher and get the review again. And then to those authors whose article is accepted in AP proceeding will be charged IDR 1,750,000. Okay, that's about the info, ladies and gentlemen. Again, I hope we can meet again in other occasion. Of course, if you want to watch again the video conference, you may go to Universitas PGRI or Unipma YouTube channel, and you can subscribe, like, and also give comment there. We are delightful if you also watch again. And of course, I'll see you on the next conference. Thank you again. I'll see you later, Bapak Ibu, ladies and gentlemen, and keep healthy, of course, in this situation.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Unipma, and congratulations for
Wait a minute, Bapak Ibu, ladies and gentlemen. We have a photo session. I almost forgot. Mas Amir, Mas Amir.
Yes, yes.
Yeah, okay. Mas Amir, Bapak Ibu, would you on cam? We have photo session. Okay, Mas Amir, silakan.
Okay. 1, 2, 3. One more. 1, 2, 3. Okay.
Thank you again, ladies and gentlemen. I'll see you. Bye.
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 Keep safe.
Udah.